This video will demonstrate how to complete online registration for Dade County Schools. Once you open the link, you are going to come to this page. You will choose Pre-K and Kindergarten registration for the 23-24 school year and choose Next. At this point, you are going to complete your information. So first name, last name, email address, and verify your email address. So you're going to type that twice. And then you have the question, has any student being registered today previously been enrolled in a Dade County school? And you choose yes or no. Then you must prove that you are not a robot. And then begin registration. At this point, you are going to get a message that tells you to check your email. So let's go ahead and do that. Once you get your email, it should look like this. It should be coming from IC Messenger at dadecs.org entitled Welcome to Online Registration. If you don't get this within just a couple minutes, make sure that you check your spam folder just in case it has been sent there. And this is going to tell you what you need to gather before you begin the process. I'm going to go into more detail with that in just a second. There's also an email link if you are having issues or you have questions. It's registration at dadecs.org, or you can call the county office. Below that is your link to begin the registration process. So you go ahead and click that link. This brings you to the student enrollment checklist. And this is a lot of information, so that's another reason to go through this tutorial. There are several documents that you need, and I suggest that you go ahead and gather these documents before you start the registration process and scan them and save them to your computer, because you are going to have to upload them in the registration process. So, the things that you need. First of all, we need to know who is allowed to register a child, and a parent, legal guardian, grandparent with power of attorney, kinship caregiver, foster parent, or sponsor for international exchange students are the only persons that are allowed to enroll. And those people need to provide a copy of custody documentation, insurance card listing the child's name, birth date, or income tax return showing the child as a dependent. You will also need a copy of your driver's license, state ID, passport, or other photo ID. You will also need proof of your student's age, and this can be a birth certificate or state, federal, county, or school document showing the child's age. Next is proof of residency, and you will take one of these listed. I'm not going to go through that list because you will have that on your screen. And then you will also need to include one of the following, either a gas bill, electric bill, or water bill, and that must contain the parent or legal guardian's name and address of the residency. You will also have to complete a residency affidavit, and it must be notarized and signed by the parent or guardian that is authorized to enroll the student. Immunizations are next. You must provide the student's Social Security card or objection to use waiver. You also include immunization records, and they must be on Georgia Form 3231 or a religious exemption. And then you also have to provide vision, hearing, and dental and nutrition screening, and that must be on Georgia Form 3300. And that must be within the last 12 months. And then if the student has been enrolled in a different school, the school that the student was enrolled in, you need to go there and request records and have those sent to Dade County Schools. All right, so now we are ready to begin. All right, so first question is primary phone number. Okay, at this point, you choose whether that primary phone number should get voice messages or phone calls for emergency, high priority, attendance, behavior, general, food service, or teacher. And teacher would be a message from the child's teacher, or you can make that primary number private. You will also need to decide if you want texts, and we're going to go ahead and check those, and we're going to choose next. All right, this is where you put in your home address. So, and I'm just choosing it auto-filled for me. And then it says your address as entered above. So we are good there. All right, this is where you will start uploading some documents. This is your proof of residency. And here's your list of those options. And you click Upload Proof of Residency 1. So you're going to go to your computer and choose the file, choose Open, and that puts your file here. If you attach the wrong file, you simply remove the file, go back and try again. And the same thing here, you've got your proof of residency 2 and your residency affidavit. Once you've done that, you choose Next. And this is asking for if you have a different mailing address than the address you entered on the previous screen. So this is a question that deals with supplemental services that your child may be able to receive. Question, has anyone in your household moved in order to work in another city, county, or state in the last 3 years? Yes or no? Has anyone in your household been involved in one of the following occupations, either full or part-time or temporarily during the last 3 years? And here's a list here. If that applies, then you're going to check the box and choose yes. Okay, and save and continue. All right, so this tells you that you are going to add any parent guardian, including yourself, in this area. So I've got my name, and let's finish filling it out. Okay, is this a foster parent? No. And is this an authorized person to enroll the student? The answer must be yes for you to be able to continue. At this point, you are going to provide proof that you are the person that is entitled to enroll the child. Again, you're going to upload that information where you have scanned it and saved it to your computer. All right, next, this is contact information. So you can enter a cell phone number. Again, you're choosing the messages. And I'm going to say that I do not want attendance or behavior as a voice message or a voice call, but I'll accept it as a text message. It's always best to enter a work phone and another phone if you have one. Here is an email address, which it pulls from what you've already entered. And you can add a secondary email if you want. Always good to have a backup. Okay, and then we have the question, is the parent currently active duty military or has been in the past? And we're going to save and continue. All right, very important. is to make sure that parent information is correct. So I have myself here, and I'm going to add father as well. And I'm going to have to use correct name. And all right, birth date. You can choose the calendar or fill that in. And again, is this a foster parent? And yes, this person is also allowed, but since you have already done it, you can choose no and not have to fill out the information again. And you're going to do the same thing here and choose, go on to, you will also need to add this person's email. Yep. If you don't add the email, you get this, which tells you that you either have to fill in an email or say has no email. And choose next. All right, and then your same question about military, and save and continue. If there's another parent or guardian that you need to add, you can do that here, or you can save and continue. All right, emergency contacts. You need to make sure you include emergency contacts so that in case of an emergency, your child, you will be you will need to add emergency contacts in case someone needs to be reached regarding your child and you are not available. So we're going to say okay. And we're going to add that person. You have to have a birth date and a gender. Okay. All right. All you have to have is a phone number, but you can also add work phone and email just in case you need it. Their address. Go. And address line 1 is the street address. Address line 2 is going to be your city and state and zip code. And save and continue. You can add more. I would suggest at least 3, and that's just for safety's sake. Okay. And if there's another child in the household that is not currently enrolled, you're going to add them here, the student that is enrolling. So legal first name, and middle name, and then last name. If your student goes by a nickname, you can choose it there. If you want to include the student cell number here and email address for the student there, choose gender, birth date, and does this student have a social security number? Yes, and then you are going to fill that in. And then you don't have to worry about date entered the U.S. Enrollment grade, choose pre-K or kindergarten. School, you'll choose between Dade Elementary and Davis Elementary. And whether the student is a foreign exchange student. All right. You will upload birth certificate and social security card. Next, you have the race ethnicity section. And it says choose all that apply. At least one selection is required. Is the student living in a temporary living arrangement? Choose yes or no. Does your child have an IEP? 504, gifted, talented? All right. This form must be completed. In which language would you prefer to receive information? Say English, the language that the child best understands, most frequently used at home, most frequently used when speaking to your child, and has your child ever um, received ELL or ESL services? And choose one sentence that best describes your child's primary language, and choose next. All right. If your child has been in another school, this is where you will enter that information. If your child was currently suspended or expelled, you're going to check there. If you have the transcript, so only if the child was at another school will you have to upload a transcript. And tribal enrollment, yes or no. Relationships. Okay, so this brings in the information that you have already filled in. You are going to choose whether the first person is what role, what relationship they have. And this is telling you that, like Portal is Infinite Campus, and that's where you can look at information on your child, like attendance and grades and so forth. If you want both parents to be able to have an account, you need to check here. And same thing if you want both parents to receive the messenger notifications from the school, then you'll choose there. And then you'll also tell which guardian you want contacted first and second. And if this person has no relationship, like not related to that person, then you're going to choose no relationship. All right, choose next. These are your emergency contacts that you've already filled in. And we're going to choose this, and we're going to say that it's the third person. All right. So at this point, you are going to have the primary care provider, and you are going to add the primary care provider's phone number. If there are no medical conditions or mental health conditions, you're going to check here. Or if there are, you are going to add condition and choose from the list. Any comments that you need to leave for the school, you can do there. And if you accidentally put something, you can just remove condition. Okay, and then we are ready for the immunizations. You'll upload Georgia Form 3231 here and Form 3300 here. Oh, and I'm sorry, I skipped this part. It's a good thing that it points this out to us. If your child is on no medication, you check here. If they take a medication, it's here. So we're going to say this is taken at home and it's taken daily. If it is, let's say it's taken both. So it's something that's going to be taken at school. Go ahead and put how the student takes it here. Takes one tablet at lunch. Okay. And then you are going to go to next. All right, and this is information that is for pre-K students. This child was born as a single birth, twin, quadruplet, triplet, quintuplet. And this is physician name and phone number. Last screening date. This child has the following special needs. If your child has any special needs, you're going to fill that in here. Any accommodations that need to be met, fill that in here. And tell whether your child has food stamps, Medicaid, so forth, or none of the above. And will this child need transportation? All right, you have a pre-K agreement. You need to read that. General release, read that. And photo video release, complete that. All right, and then we get to release agreements. If you want your child to participate in public or school media publications, you can give permission here. If you want them to be able to go on local field trips, just like around the school, you're going to choose yes. Technology, this is the technology acceptable use policy. And let's see, then you have terms that you need to agree to. Choose yes. You're going to sign with your mouse again and save and continue. All right, so this is your information on the student. If you need to correct something, you can choose here. If you have another student you need to add new student here. Save and continue. All right, and at this point, it says that you are ready to submit your application. So we're going to submit, and it's going to make sure that you are ready because you cannot go back and modify or edit information once you have submitted. So you're going to confirm and submit. You should get a thank you for completing the information, and make sure you note your application number, because if you need to talk to someone at the county office about this application, it's easy if you know the application number. They can also check it by your name. This is the easiest. Remember, if you have any questions, you can contact the county office at the number that was presented earlier, and you've also got the option to send an email.